Have you ever wondered why some women seem to move through life with such grace and ease? They're not the ones begging to be noticed. They're not forcing doors open. And they're certainly not exhausting themselves trying to prove their worth. Yet somehow, opportunities fall into their lap. People admire them effortlessly. And love seems to find them without them even searching. It almost feels like magic, but in reality, it isn't magic at all. It's the quiet power of knowing what not to chase. Feminine energy has a magnetism that's hard to ignore. It doesn't run after, it draws in. It doesn't fight for scraps, it creates abundance. A truly feminine woman understands that her energy is sacred. And because of this, she is intentional about how she spends it. She knows there are certain things that weaken her spirit and diminish her presence, and she simply refuses to pursue them. Instead, she invests in herself and in what flows naturally toward her. This is why she shines, why she radiates, why she stands out in a world where so many are running on empty. The truth is, chasing comes from fear. It says, if I don't run after this, I'll lose it. Attraction, on the other hand, comes from confidence. It says, what's meant for me will come, and I trust myself enough to wait. This shift in mindset is what separates the feminine woman from the rest. And today, we're going to walk through 5 things she never chases, and why this simple act of restraint creates a life of peace, power, and fulfillment. First, she never chases people who don't value her. We've all been there, sending long, thoughtful messages only to get a one-word reply, rearranging our schedule for someone who cancels last minute, pouring into relationships where the energy is never returned. Most of us try harder when this happens. We think if we prove our loyalty, eventually they'll see our worth. But not the feminine woman. She knows her value isn't up for debate. If someone doesn't see her, she steps back instead of stepping closer. Because chasing someone who consistently overlooks you isn't an act of love, it's an act of self-betrayal. And she refuses to betray herself. By walking away, she creates space for people who recognize her worth the moment she enters their lives. The second thing she never chases is love. Now, love is beautiful. It's intoxicating. It makes us feel alive. But love that has to be begged for isn't really love at all. It's attachment. A feminine woman doesn't cling to someone who pulls away. She doesn't chase someone who has already chosen to leave. Instead, she trusts that love is meant to be mutual, free, and flowing. She pours into herself first, filling her own cup with joy, passions, friendships, and care. That way, when love does come, it complements her life instead of completing it. And because she radiates wholeness, she naturally attracts relationships that are healthier and more stable than anything she could have run after. Third, she never chases success through hustle alone. We live in a world that tells us the harder we grind, the more valuable we are. Wake up earlier, stay up later, never rest, never stop. But this constant chase only leads to burnout. The feminine woman knows success isn't about running the fastest. It's about aligning with her strengths. She still works hard, but she doesn't hustle from desperation. She creates, she builds, she shows up, but she also rests. She trusts that the seeds she plants with joy will bloom when the season is right. And when her success comes, it's sustainable because it was never forced. Fourth, she never chases external validation. The world loves to make us feel like we're not enough unless someone applauds, likes, or notices us. But validation is a fragile fuel. It burns out quickly and leaves us running after the next hit of approval. A feminine woman refuses to live this way. She doesn't need to be constantly told she's beautiful, worthy, or talented because she already knows it. She validates herself through self-care, self-reflection, and self-trust. Of course, she appreciates compliments, but she doesn't depend on them. Her confidence is steady because it comes from within, not from an audience that claps today and forgets tomorrow. Finally, she never chases control over others. Control is tempting. It makes us feel safe. If we can predict someone's actions, maybe we won't get hurt. But in reality, control is just an illusion. A feminine woman doesn't waste her energy trying to force people into roles they don't want to play. She doesn't manipulate or cling to outcomes. Instead, she sets boundaries and allows others to be who they are. If someone chooses to walk away, she lets them go. If life shifts unexpectedly, she adapts. By releasing control, she finds peace. And paradoxically, her ability to let go gives her a natural influence because people are drawn to her authenticity rather than pushed by her pressure. Now, let's bring this into everyday life. Imagine two women after a breakup. One spends weeks calling, texting, begging for closure. She feels drained, unseen, and unloved. The other accepts the ending with grace, grieves in her own time, then begins to reinvest in herself. She travels, she learns, she reconnects with friends. Months later, she radiates strength, and opportunities naturally appear at her door. She never chased, yet she gained more. Or picture two women in the workplace. One tries everything to impress her boss, working overtime, sacrificing rest, constantly seeking approval. The other does her work with quiet excellence, respects her limits, and walks into meetings with confidence. She doesn't beg for recognition, but recognition finds her. And when promotion time comes, who do you think stands out? The woman who proved her worth by not chasing it. This is the essence of feminine power. It isn't loud, but it's felt. It isn't desperate, but it's undeniable. By refusing to chase, feminine women remind the world that they are not here to beg for scraps. They are here to receive what aligns with their energy. And that is why their presence feels magnetic. So let's take a moment to reflect. Feminine women never chase people who don't value them. They never chase love. They never chase success through desperation. They never chase validation. And they never chase control. Why? Because chasing is rooted in scarcity, but attraction is rooted in abundance. Chasing says, I'm not enough unless I get this. Attraction says, I am already enough, and what belongs to me will come in its own time. The beauty of this mindset is that it doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you see yourself. When you stop chasing, you stop shrinking. You stop begging for space, and you begin to take up space with confidence. And the more you embody this energy, the more life begins to align itself around you. So the next time you feel the urge to run after someone or to cling to something slipping away, pause, breathe, remind yourself of this truth. I don't chase, I attract, I flow, I trust. Because that is what feminine energy truly is, not weakness, not passivity, but trust in your own worth and in the timing of life. And here's the most powerful part. Once you embrace this way of being, you'll notice that the things you once felt you had to run after begin to show up naturally. The right people, the right opportunities, the right love, they all begin to find their way to you.